Hi, everybody. How you doing? Weather Extra. Cha-cha-cha-cha-cha. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Jeff. Hi. It's Saturday morning, and I see a little sunshine in the shoals. Waking up this morning on air, I was trying to show you these awesome sunrise looks, right? And I was like, yeah, we're going to have a whole bunch of sunshine, and there was a lot of cloud cover. I talked about how the clouds were going to have to clear out first. And then once we pop sunshine, it's game on temperature-wise again today. Already 80 degrees in the shoals, and that's with a little sun-cloud mix going on right now. You can see some shadows, but there's still some clouds. Today, I feel weird saying this, but 92 with a feel-like temperature of 100 is going to be cool. I know, a lot of you at home are like throwing stuff at me right now. Right? That's not cool, you idiot. I know, but it is compared to what's coming tomorrow. And in all seriousness, Monday and Tuesday look really, really uncomfortable. Not just the air temperature, but the humidity too, making the feel-like temperature as high as 110. We've been there, done that this month, but we did it once. But we could put back-to-back days together, Monday and Tuesday. And then Wednesday, I'll talk more about in the 10-day forecast, because Wednesday's a tricky forecast because we got 95 for the high, but it could be anywhere between 89 and 99. It just depends on when some storms come into the area. It's all part of a frontal boundary that will hang out right across the area Thursday, Friday, and into the weekend. It'll keep rain in the forecast, and with more clouds and rain, that will bring the temperatures down. So there is a break. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, but the trade-off is that the cooler air, cooler being 80s by the end of the week, comes with some rain chances. So Athens, see a little sun now. It was overcast when I put the camera on there about 10 minutes ago. So we've come a long way. See a little bit of brightness. That's going to take these temperatures and jack them up. So 70s to near 80 degrees will quickly become 90 by noon. Dew point temperature kind of held in check today. So your feel like temperature around 100 degrees, very typical for this time of year. And based on where we've been at times during the month, not bad. I mean, it's been around 105 most of the month. Some interesting stats for this month in July. A lot of you are like, wow, it just feels so hot. I think what's happened is we had a really late push of heat this summer, and then we really didn't get ramped up in the heat and humidity until the end of June. July has maintained not just 90 plus almost every day except one, but the overnight lows have been in the 70s and mid 70s at times. So even at night, we're not getting much of a break. It just is like a constant every day. We're not getting that cold front or cool front this time of year that gives you that day or two of relief. It's just been relentless, and it will continue to be as we go into today and obviously early next week. 48 first alert weather days already issued for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. There's your dew points, sultry in the 70s, and the beat or the heat just keeps on going on. You get a straight isolated thunderstorm around 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, but I think most areas are going to stay dry today. The chance of rain is really, really low from now until the middle of the week. So if you do get a storm, it's the exception rather than the rule. I have no idea why my 6 p.m. temperature isn't there, but we can all guesstimate it'll be about 88 or 89 at that point. Heat alerts for areas all around us. Tennessee Valley, not in one yet. Look for that to change tomorrow. We'll have some kind of heat advisories probably for tomorrow, Monday, or Tuesday. We've issued 48 first alert weather days, so yes, yes, yes. Hi, Ronnie. Good morning. I see Ronnie on. Of course, commented like 3 minutes ago, and I'm babbling endlessly. Here's your 3-day forecast, everybody. There's your 48 first alert days. Kicking off Monday and Tuesday. Probably could have one for tomorrow, too. I mean, feel like 105 on Sunday isn't really much different than 109 Monday and Tuesday, but it's all optics. It's going to be hot and humid no matter what. Hi, Vacation Valley. I see good morning with extra O's. It's always an extra incentive to say good. I appreciate it. Hi, Amy Seaton. Good to see you on. Good morning. There's Ronnie again. Good morning to you, my friend. And how about Athens? Ronnie, it's hot and humid, my friend. Bring it on. Temperature low 90s, feels like about 100. Pretty much you and all the Tennessee Valley are going to have the same kind of forecast today. Maybe an isolated storm. I can't really say any location favors rainfall. Well, mainly south of the river probably, and maybe west. But I'm just going to keep an isolated thunderstorm in the forecast for everybody today and tomorrow too. But it's all about the heat and the humidity. There's not going to be very much rain the next 2 days. If you do get rain though, like so often in July, be a downpour and it'll move on. And then it's out. Vacation Valerie, I would love to just hibernate at home in the air conditioning. Oh, some people love to do that. I gave a pickleball forecast today. Jada used it yesterday. Eric Burke made the graphic. It's awesome. Since we all play pickleball here, it's come in handy. It's pretty cool. I'm going to pull up the fade on this so you can see that a little bit better. You don't need to see me. So there's your alert days for Monday and Tuesday. Got an outside chance to hit 100, not even counting the humidity. And I was joking around on air because I was like, which day is going to be the hottest? And I mean, you got Monday, you got Tuesday, and you got Wednesday. So Monday and Tuesday will have the higher temperatures, but Wednesday has more humidity. So what happens on Wednesday, we have some scattered storms in the forecast. That's really the next higher chance of rain for the area. So on Wednesday, if the storms come in really late in the day, that 95 will be closer to 100. If the storms come in earlier during the day, that 95 will be closer to 90. Either way, it's hot and humid, but there's a difference between 90 and 99. So when the storms arrive on Wednesday will play a big part in how the day will feel overall. And then you got Thursday and Friday, stalled out front boundary. You got clouds and rain. That'll keep the temperatures down. 92 on Thursday might even be a little too high. But unfortunately, the trade-off to drop the temperatures is to keep more clouds and rain in the forecast. And that rain may linger into next weekend as well. It looks like there could be some very heavy rainfall Thursday and Friday. Forecast model spitting out about 2 to 3 inches of rain for all locations. So some of you will be like, yes, rain. And then others are like waving the white flag. No, no rain. I don't want any more rain in my house. I'm done. Done with rain. Every time there's a chance for a storm, I get one. And my garden's good. I got weeds everywhere. I'm all set. The backyard is mushy. I'm good. I have a lot of shade in my backyard, though, for the record. Amy, I'm coming inside by 10 a.m. on Monday, not opening the door again until at least Thursday. Oh, yeah, that's a long time indoors, Amy. I hope you go to the grocery store, pack up, get some stuff to eat, too. I don't know, I was talking to Kyle today on Facebook. I like all seasons. I'm okay with it. And I'm okay with the heat and the humidity. It doesn't bother me. But I know where it can get frustrating for many. And we just haven't had a break. It's just been relentless. Month of July, I mean, almost every day has been 90 plus. And I know it's hot and it's summertime. It's supposed to be hot. I get it. But there's just no relief. It's like no relief. Dave, happy Saturday. Hey, my friend. Good to see you on. I'm going to wait until mow tomorrow. I'm doing all my stuff outside tomorrow. I'm going to do it all in one swipe. I kind of got on a bad pattern, Dave. Dave and I talk mowing a lot, for those of you who don't know, because I talk with Dave all the time. Good guy. So, Dave, this is what I'm thinking. I've been mowing the front yard, and then the day later, rolling the backyard. And I got myself in a pattern where I was mowing half the yard, either because of a time constraint for the day or just too hot and I didn't feel like staying out there, right? But now I don't like the way the yard looks. It looks uneven. It's driving me crazy. So I'm going to wait until the front grows a little more tomorrow, and then I'm going to mow both at the same time on Sunday. That's my plan. I'm good to go with that. PM Matthews, good morning. Decatur already hot. Yeah, it's going to get a lot hotter, too. You're not even at 80 yet. You're going to get there a lot hotter soon. And it's going to be even hotter as you go into Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. This is like an appetizer. The main course comes early in the week. But yeah, it's so hot. July average, you break down the July temperature average-wise, it's only been about 2.5 degrees above average. I know I'm going to get a lot of people get mad at me about this, but it hasn't really been that crazy. It's just been persistent. Every day has been 90 plus, 90 plus, 90 plus, 90 plus. And that comes off of a May that was below average and a June that was right where it should be. So somebody asked me the other day, and I thought it was a great question, like, where we stand for the summer? Can't give you that answer yet because the summer's not over. So far, if you take from June 1st, which is considered for meteorological seasons, June 1st to August 31st is summer, right? So when that person asked me the question, it was back on like July 19th. So I broke it down just for those days, from June 1st to July 19th. And we were actually like pretty much right on par with where we should be temperature-wise at that time. We've added a little bit more juice as we go into the last couple of days, but it'll be interesting to see how August plays out. I keep seeing all these forecast maps that show big changes in blue color all over. When you look at that map, meteorologists never explain maps. They're terrible. They just show you something to get clicks. But that blue that you see there is not in the Tennessee Valley. It's actually north of us, and we're in the average, like in the brown color. Keep in mind, like the colors blue, brown, and orange on that graphic I'm talking about, it's like the 8 to 14 day outlook. It doesn't mean blue's cold, okay? It means blue's below average. So when you see the brown over us, that's average temperature. So our average temperature in August is 90 to 91 degrees. So we might drop to that on the 8 to 14 day graphics you see circulating on Facebook and stuff that are like clickbait. But like overall though, it's still gonna be hot. It's not like a cold air mass is diving south and gonna relieve us. Now, those 80s look really good on that 10-day forecast. But remember, it's not sunny 80. It's cloudy, rainy 80 if that plays out. If we take the rain out of the forecast and throw sunshine in there for next weekend, we're not going to be 85 or 88. We're going to be 90 or 91. So, right? Got it. Vacation Valerie says hi to Dave. She's the hostess with the mostest. Mike Gentle's on today. Good to see you on, my friend. I hope all is well. Got big plans this weekend. Still want to take you up on that sand offer, by the way. I'm still thinking about that. Saves me a really long trip down to the beaches in Alabama. Vacation Valerie, heading to Decatur tonight. So I get to see my favorite sunrise bridge, and second, it'll be fin in Decatur tonight. Yes, you should be. It'll be fun. You should. Decatur's good times. Have fun. The bridge is beautiful. Nothing better than the Decatur sunrise look every morning, right? It's good stuff. More Mike. Amy says, I'm dividing my mowing this week because of the heat. Backyard is a bear. Too much rain and mutant weeds. Half tomorrow, half Monday. Amy, that's a good plan. That's the best thing you can do is you budget it out. I started going halvesy front, halvesy back on different days, and then I didn't like how one was higher than the other. It was driving me crazy. The OCD in me was like, ah! So I'm just going to mow all one time tomorrow. But my backyard is a beast too, because I have to get around the shed, and I got all the stuff behind it, and trying to weed against the fences in the backyard. The front yard is way easier, except for one stump I have in the front yard from the previous owner, and that drives me crazy trying to get the lawnmower through there. I get the weed whacker, and it's like 2 times to work. But Teresa, good morning from Hazel Green. HG in the house. Vacation Valerie's from Hazel Green too. She's there too. HG represented by most. In fact, you know who I have not seen on lately, and I gotta find her and say hi, is I gotta find D.O. D.O. from PC hasn't been on. At least I didn't see her. Anyway, we'll have to say hi to Donna and find her eventually. Hi, Mike says you're welcome anytime. I appreciate that, my friend. I'll get some free time eventually in life. One of these weekends I will. If not, I'll come down and help rake leaves in the fall. It'll be all right. Stan, what's up? Good morning, Jeff. Desnoyers, 82 degrees, feels like 95 at 8:40 a.m. I finished mowing yesterday. Good for you, Stan Barbie. I hope all is well. How you doing on rainfall, though, this month? I don't know. I don't think your numbers might be very high where you are. I had over like 7 inches of rain at my house. Some areas have had over like 8 inches of rain, and there's some areas that haven't even had an inch of rain. So it all depends on location, of course. But Amy says, I hate the front and back being uneven, but my OCD can deal with it for a week. Yeah, Amy, we'd get along very well. But like I put up with it for like 2 mows, right? I did it for like 2 weeks. I was like, just mow the front, then I'll mow the back. And I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then like, I don't know, I think it was like Wednesday, I had a day off and I went out to the front yard and I was like, oh, it looks so good. And then I went out to the backyard and I'm like, not so good. And I was like, nope, I'm going to wait till Sunday. I'm going to mow it all at one time. Yeah, but the OCD, I was very upset with myself because I thought I had a plan and the plan didn't work out. So, Vacation Valerie, the hostess with the mostest, saying hi to everybody, including Stan, which is good. Valerie Kirby Carey, everybody. She's pretty awesome. She's in Hazel Green. Pull up the 10-day again. I'm not going anywhere. And I have to be careful how I say this. So I have a special guest coming today. So I'm going to be here at 9 o'clock for that. So I have time to hang out with you all for a little bit, even if it's just endless babble and we get to just hang out. Stan says rain is at 2.09 inches for now. And that goes to show you exactly the difference in rainfall. There's your 10-day, everybody. I'm going to take it back. I mean, where Stan lives in the Falkville area, he has 2 inches of rain. And Stan knows rain. He keeps track of it. Stan's awesome. But there are some areas in the Tennessee Valley that have like 6, 7, 8 inches of rain. There's some areas that haven't even had 2 inches of rain. And depending on where you're at, you're either really happy or you're not happy at all that you didn't have rain. Or maybe you're happy you didn't have rain. Or maybe you're happy you did not have rain. I confused myself. Very rarely does the weather play out exactly the way we all want it to. It just doesn't work that way. And it can vary differently from one location to another. Just like, not just rainfall-wise, but severe weather-wise. How often do we have, severe weather and one town gets a tornado and then 3 miles away didn't even have a raindrop? And that one town, location in the town that had the damage has to pick up the pieces, right? Rainfalls like that. Not so much temperature. We're all pretty consistently gross right now. Sometimes, though, you get one of those sharp cold fronts that comes through like October, November. How many times have I been on air for the noon show and the front's coming through from west to east and the Shoals is sitting at 47 degrees and Fort Payne is at like 73? That big of a difference. You can watch the front move through while I'm on air and you can see the temperatures dropping as it moves east. That's when you can have big differences in temperature across the area, too. Vacation Valerie, I'm not allowed to mow. So I was needing the mower person, so I hired father-son team last night. I don't think I have to worry about my yard anymore. Good. A lot of people, Vacation Valley, I see a lot of mowing landscaping companies in my neighborhood and surrounding areas. And a lot of people just say, hey, come over and mow my yard, I'll pay you. Well, way to do it. I'm too cheap. I feel like I could still mow, so I'm going to keep on mowing. I keep on mowing. Yeah, for a little while longer. I'm not going to give up. Let me try to give it a go. I'm going to try. But one thing I did not do this year, though, I didn't add much to my gardens this year. I've mowed and I've kept it clean and I've done my stuff. And I just kept everything growing the way it was. I don't know what these things I had. I grew these things in the back by this fence area. And they were only supposed to be 4.5 feet high. Liars, they're like 9 feet high. And they've outgrown the area now. So I might have to do a little bit of reshuffling with the gardens this year. But I've been just maintaining the yard, and that's all I've really done so far this year. I added a little bit of like a little bit more of a look in the garden with some brick and stuff, but I just haven't been out there to do it. I would like to, maybe I'll hire somebody to mow the lawn so I can focus more on my gardens. That's what I want to do. Or maybe just hire someone to do all of it. That would be great. Amy says, when I was budgeting for retirement, I figured out I could either keep the yard guy or retire. Retirement one. Good stuff right there, Amy. Yeah, I mean, it can be kind of pricey to get the yard mowed, but there's a couple in my neighborhood I noticed, like, I think it was like last week, a gentleman that was walking down the road with a lawnmower and his gas, and he was essentially knocking on doors and saying, I'll mow your yard. I don't know how much he was charging. And I felt bad because I actually had just pulled the lawnmower out of the shed. I'm like, I'm about to mow, bro. I got it, but thank you. But, yeah, I don't know. That might be a very good way to do it. Vacation Valley says, yeah, it's not cheap, but I have learned you get what you pay for. It's true. You know. I mean, who was I talking to? Was it last year? I think it was Chris. Anyway, viewer Scottsboro, him and his wife paid for a landscaping service. And they said, oh, you know, we'll be out every so often and we mow and, you know, this is what we charge. And all of a sudden, like 2 weeks pass and grass is growing real high and the guy hasn't come out. But he sends a bill to Chris. Chris is like, what? And so Chris is like, dude, you haven't come over and mow the lawn. Why are you sending me a bill? He's like, oh, no, I was there. I cut it. Like, no, you didn't. It's like 2 weeks high. So scrapped that company and went with a different one. They came out right away and they took care of everything. He never paid that other bill either. But yeah, you got to be careful. You know, maybe he thought that they weren't home or something. He was going to get away with it. I don't know why we would lie, but yeah. Crazy. All right, Vacation Value says, that's great. Sorry, everybody. My messages were going weird. If you have any questions about the forecast today, it's pretty straightforward, everybody. This is really no secret. It's the end of July. We're going to close the book on July hot and humid, which has been like that the entire month. Isolated storm Saturday, Sunday. There's not a lot of rain in this forecast. The higher chance of rain really doesn't come until Wednesday, and that's when we do ramp up the rainfall. I shouldn't say there's not a lot in the forecast because once Wednesday gets here, there's a really good chance of rain Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and into next weekend. It just depends, too. There's a frontal boundary that's coming through. That's what brings the changes. It gets stuck over the area, and that's why we have forecast for rain Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday on that 10-day. But if that front were to dip a little bit more south or stay a little bit more north, it's going to change that tail end of the forecast, like the 10-day forecast, like after day 6. I just take it for a grain of salt because it's a big pattern look. So if the front sticks around on top of us, we can keep the rain in the forecast for next weekend, and we keep clouds, rain, 80s. If that front were to dip a little bit more south, we might be able to take the rain out of the forecast, keep the 80s, and have a pretty nice weekend. If the front were to stall out and maybe a little bit more north of us, we'd probably have to add 90 to that forecast and then take the rain out, and it would be sunny and 90, and it would be hot and humid. So where that front gets stuck next week is a big part of the forecast. It looks like it's right on top of us Thursday and Friday. It comes through Wednesday night now and is just over us Thursday and Friday. And then where it goes from there plays a big part into what your forecast will be the following weekend. But right now, basing the front to stick around on top of us keeps us in the 80s and rainy. So a lot to look at. Stan. Stan talking to Vacation Valerie. Stan, we're always thinking about you, my friend. Always. Amy says, what is August looking like for rain, or can you tell long term? You can always tell, get an idea for a forecast pattern, Amy, definitely. I mean, I can't say like on August 16th at 1 p.m. it's going to rain at your house. I can't do that. But I can tell you that the overall pattern for August looks to be about average temperature-wise and average precipitation-wise. And what that means is a month that would be about 3 to 4 inches of rain off the top of my head, and temperatures around 90 by day, 70 at night. And that's about what we got. Very typical summer pattern. Nothing screams really heavy rain for August or really dry. And there's nothing really temperature-wise that looks to be crazy either. Doesn't look really extreme. It looks just very average. It can be average. Average is not bad. But for some of you who feel like you've gotten dissed on the rainfall of June and July, and I'm sure there's some locations that feel that way, if August remains dry for you too, then that could be 2-3 months where you feel like you haven't had enough rain. But based on the numbers, most of the area is doing just fine. We're not in a drought, nothing like that. Maybe a few areas a little drier than others, but most of the areas had some decent rainfall for most of the area from May 1st till now. So we'll see how it goes. Skylar, great. You're playing your Yamaha keyboard right now. That's all. You should play a rain song. No rain. I was thinking maybe a Blame It on the Rain or something like that. Or Here Comes the Rain Again by the Eurythmics. Great song. But let's do a heat song. Can you play a heat song? There's got to be a good heat song, right? The heat is on, Glenn Fry. You're as cold as ice. Play that by Foreigner. That's a good one. That's a keyboard song. And we could feel colder. There's a ton of them. Heat of the Moment by Asia. That's got to be a good keyboard song. They play the keyboard in that song. Amy says, ugh, average is always iffy. Typical Alabama. Well, yeah, I mean, I agree. But typical everywhere when it's average. But yes, I don't know about iffy, but I see where you're going with it. Like, could it be a little higher? Could it be a little less? Average seems like a cop-out, but it looks average, though. Nothing too hot, nothing too cold. The porridge is just right. Nothing too wet, nothing too dry. Just going to be just wet enough. But you could always, too, a lot of times, Amy, you know, like wherever you live or, you know, in August, this happened 23, early August. I filled in for Eric one morning, and man, there was like all these boundaries that came together right over Harvest and Tony. And it poured in the morning. And I'm on air, and everyone that's not in Harvest and Tony are like, dude, what are you talking about? I'm like, it's pouring rain. There's flooding happening. They've had like 7-8 inches of rain in the morning alone. I think even like Haley Baker was on with me that morning. And she was just like, Jeff, it's not raining anywhere else. I'm like, I know. I don't know what to tell you. So like all these other people were like, I don't know what you're talking about. But boy, if you look at the rainfall totals that August, I think it was 23, that area got pummeled. They had a month's worth of rain in like 2 hours. So sometimes like when you take the average, and that's a good point that Amy brings up, is average is iffy. You're right. I mean, it could be. I mean, there's some areas that could overproduce and they get a little bit more rain than others, and there's other areas that might not get as much. So, but it's like that a lot of places, not just Alabama, but everybody. Like when you have that average forecast where there's no extremes in the forecast, like looking ahead, it kind of gets everybody a little like, what's Mother Nature thinking about? Amber, you can ask me that question. I'm not really a newsy guy. Like I'm a weather guy, but I do know, and I watch the station. I don't know what the update is in Scottsboro. We did have the update on air this morning. I think some new information came in, and I think something just got posted on our Facebook, on our webpage on 48 about it. But I leave that all up to the news people. But I'm pretty sure, if not already, there's probably an update on our page about it already. It will be soon for sure. But yeah. But you can ask me that stuff. It doesn't have to always be weather questions. Amy says, not as of half an hour ago. And I think that's what the update is that there has been nobody, that they have not apprehended anybody yet, or caught anybody yet. But I'll leave the news up to them. But they'll probably, I know one thing, whatever breaking news we have on it, Tatiana's here this morning, and she is amazing. So like, she don't miss nothing. So once it comes out, she puts it right on the web, sends it out. It'll probably come as a push notification on your phone, most likely, if you have the app, which is a pretty cool app to have. Playing Hungry Heart, which you were playing the other day. You seem to really like that song, which is good. And You Ever Seen the Rain by CCR. Yeah, that's a classic, my friend. That's right up my alley right there. Amber says thank you. And I appreciate Amy for answering. Thank you. There you go. I got to the end of the question. So what time is it? Oh, I got to go. 8:57 is the time. And I should be having a very special guest arriving here at the station in the next 3 minutes. I'm very excited about this. Very excited. So everybody have a good Saturday. If you have not, it's your loss. Have not watched Jada on air. She started last Sunday night. She filled in for Eric Burke on Friday. She's done a little TVL. She's done a little noontime weather. And she is in tonight, and we'll have the very latest on the forecast for you for Sunday and the week ahead with all those red boxes, which look very intimidating. I will be back bright-eyed and bushy-tailed tomorrow at 5 a.m. And she will be back in Sunday night as we have a typical normal weekend forecasting crew here. Yay! Weekends are back, baby. So everybody have a fantastic day. Stay cool. I know a lot of you frustrated with the heat. I get it. We're getting to the end of it, though, everybody. We're going to eventually turn the corner sometime, we figure, by October. No, I'm just kidding. We'll have some cooler days in there probably by the end of August, maybe like September. And eventually the season will change and it'll get cooler and we'll bring out our hoodies again and we'll try to stay warm and we'll have campfires to stay warm. And the seasons always change, right? Everybody have a fantastic day. Talk soon.